Okay, good morning, world and students at our two current campuses, maybe soon to be three, broadcasting this from Casa Grande State Penitentiary, high maximum security, the Nevada version of Pelican Bay. So today we are going to start doing maps.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, wow.
Can you see it, Ed?
Yeah, let me just switch over so you're on permanently.
Okay. And here's like this is like one of our composition folders and just a regular size folder that we put in there. So, matter of fact, can you hold that? Let me grab one of our magazines. Here's the Voce. Here's a pack of the Voce magazines right here. Okay. That's the Voce.
Here we go.
Hold on, yeah. Let me go here and go back here.
Is this for auto trader?
Yeah.
Can they see it?
That was, yeah. Yeah, he can see it okay. Let's see.
Top down view.
Go down a little bit. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, can you see it over there?
Oh, yes, yes.
See it? So, that's,
Wow, that's perfect.
yeah, that's it right there, Ed.
Paper fit, like what's the size up there? It's an 8
What's now let's look at the top part, Dennis.
cover the auto.
It's like, will a magazine go in the top part?
Well, see,
Get my auto?
not here. Here you can, well, it just has the two right here. It has one here.
Okay,
But right here, you could possibly like put something here. You mean like that?
yeah,
Right, like that. Say, for instance, if you had something this way, like
yeah,
that.
like the magazine.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you could put one magazine there. Right.
To
Okay.
exhibit.
That Terry?
Yeah, that's Sherry. How many more black ones did he have?
About
Alex, you wanna
50,
see this?
about 50 more black ones.
Let me show you the racks. 50 more black ones.
Thank you.
This is the rack.
Wait a minute, yeah, turn it like, yeah. So you can see the, yeah, you can see the rack. There you go.
Okay, so the magazines fit perfectly. And then this is where another magazine would drop down.
No, what it is, we're showing them the racks that.
Show the bottom section, Dennis.
Can you go down to the bottom?
Okay. Okay, now.
Mhm.
How high, Dennis, how high is the top shelf from the floor?
Like
The
4
top
feet.
shelf, top shelf is probably about 2 feet, 2.5 feet maybe. Or so this top shelf right here. Yeah, a couple of feet, just a couple of feet. And the bottom one is probably 8 inches from the ground.
Here's the thing.
The bottom shelf is about 8 inches from the ground. So you're probably looking at about a foot and a half between the shelves. Okay.
I'll give you guys an example of an interesting thing that happened since we're talking about racks
Okay.
and since we're talking about La Voce.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh,
All
good.
right. Okay, Ed.
Yes.
The top shelf is a foot and a half.
18 inches?
18, about 19 inches, right. And the bottom shelf is just like I said, the bottom shelf is about 7 inches from the ground.
How many inches does one stack of magazines measure
Once
The whole.
that you have in there? How high is that rack? That
That rack is 13 inches.
No, the bundle of magazines, it should be about like 4 or 5 inches.
That one bundle of magazine is approximately 3 inches.
Okay. So it would hold 6 if need be.
Yeah. You mean stacking them on top?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would hold probably about six bundles maybe.
Okay, good. So on Saturday, I got a call from one of our customers,
Okay.
Luigi's Dry Cleaners. And he said the Lavoce guy was just here. I chatted with him. I said, hey, oh, good morning, Brett. So he said, I asked the Lavoce guy, hey, why do you throw away the Ciao Tutti magazines? We should be working together. You know, we should be helping each other. We're all trying to make money. And he couldn't describe the guy to me, but he said, I don't want you to do that. So the guy got on the phone, walked out, came back in 5 minutes later and said, okay, I'm taking our rack. So the issue is we are putting Ciao Tuttis in the same places where they have, a lot of the places, the same places that have Lavoce. And the magazines are completely different. Lavoce has racks, but the racks are not good racks and they're too big. So, but on the racks they could fit both magazines. Lavoce has decided we cannot use their racks. Other people can use their racks, but we can't because there's a lot of magazines, 7, Weekly. Other people can. So what they've been doing, so we now put our magazines in the racks after Lavoce's in there, because before, if our stuff was in the racks, they take it out of the racks and throw it away. So we decided we'll put our stuff in after they did. Well, last month they started going back to the accounts to see about our stuff in their racks. And they just throw it away. We don't put our magazines in their racks. We give the magazines to the customers. And the customers decide, you know what, it's my restaurant. I'll give the guy a choice. If you want Lavoce in here, I want both things in the racks, otherwise take it out. And our thought would be that Lavoce would say, we'd rather have a rack in here and share it with Ciao Tutti than have no rack in here. But Saturday when it happened, the driver decided, okay, screw it. I'll just take the whole rack out and take everything out, and this guy will have nothing. So it's very good, Dennis. Now we have to make arrangements to get down there to get these racks, because we have a lot of locations that want the racks. And so what will happen is Lavoce, when we go into the account, we'll say, look, we brought you a rack because Lavoce won't share racks. We'll let Lavoce put their magazines in our rack, because the locations don't want 2 racks, right? They're not going to want 2 racks. So we'll get our rack in there because the customer wants our stuff on the rack. We'll say the only way we can have our magazines in here is if we have our rack. Lavoce can be in our rack. Let's take their rack, we'll put it in the back, and they can come and pick it up. Now what happens? What happens now?
You're still going to get more business because they're not going to want to put their stuff in your rack, and they're going to pick theirs up, so that it'll be just us.
Well, so they're going to lose their rack. So that means their leverage over the account goes down tremendously, right? And if I say, okay, well, you guys set the rules to this game, and the rules were no sharing racks. Since you took the hardline approach, you can't put your stuff in our rack. Now what happens?
But you're going to tell the account that they can't.
Yeah, and we're not going to tell them no. If we go in and we find Lavoce in our rack, we're not going to throw it out. We're not going to throw them out. So, so the lesson learned here and why it's important for Larson is business is business. You can't take it personal. When somebody says, hey, why can't we just work together, a customer who you need, like in this case, Lavoce doesn't have a right to come in and say, we're putting our magazine in here, right? Right? Julia? Do you think Lavoce can go into a business and say, we're putting our rack in here?
If the business gives them permission to, yeah.
No, but I'm saying, can they just walk in and say, we're doing it? We don't care what you want. Yeah, they need the location in order to put the rack in. So you don't want to piss off the location, right? So you don't want to piss off your boss or your customers. So Lavoce has decided, thinking that the location needs them more than they need the location. And when a customer comes up with a reasonable request, why can't we put Chow Tutti in the rack too? If you take it personally, you think it's us against them, you put yourself in a position where you often don't have very many options, right? It's either us or them. Well, I want Chow Tutti. So if you're telling me that you won't be in here if Chow Tutti's here, then you do what you got to do. So the better approach is always just not get emotionally involved in business things. Try to think in terms of the camel getting its nose under the tent. This is a Middle Eastern, a Bedouin proverb of what does that mean for the getting its nose under the tent. Camel getting its nose under the tent. Why don't you want the camel to get its nose under the tent?
See what's going on.
Why don't you want the camel to get its nose under the tent if you're a Bedouin? Huh? Okay, so why does a camel try to put its nose under the tent? Right. If you let the camel get its nose under the tent, what's following? The whole camel. So you don't want to wait till the camel's in the tent. As soon as the camel's nose is under the tent, you need to stop it. Or the other strategy is just get your nose under the tent. That's a Bedouin thing. Our thing is called, what is the expression we use? Get your foot in the door. Right. Once your foot's in the door, then you have a better chance of getting your whole body in. Okay, so let's shift gears. We're going to talk about Google Apps. Today we're doing maps. And does anybody in California have an answer to the first question? The fill in the blanks on the first question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
If you don't know where you're going,
Any take it there.
any what?
Any road.
Yeah, if you don't know where you're going, I'll say the word path. If you don't know where you're going, any path will get you there. Think about that. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't know where you're going, any path will get you there. You just follow the path. So it's very important to know where you want to go. And one of the things that happens with our connectome, so motivational speakers will tell you, if they're religious motivational speakers, they'll say, ask the Holy Spirit, say a prayer to your brother Jesus or God or your saints or whoever, ask them for this, and they'll get you that, what you want. All you have to do is ask. Motivational speakers will say things like, if you throw it out there to the universe, what you want, it'll come back to you. People like Simon Sinek say no, or Sebastian Song say no. If you plug into your neural network, this is what I want to do, your neurons in your brain are going to try to make that happen. If you say, I want to be a good student, your neural network is going to do the things for you to be a good student. It's not something from outside of you that's making you do a thing. It's not the universe is giving you what you ask for. It's not the Holy Spirit is giving you this stuff. It's your neural network. So the concept is if you don't know where you're going, any path will get you there. The converse of that is if you plan to go somewhere, your neural network is going to help you get there. Now for you, it might be the Holy Spirit. It might be something else. We've got a lot of chatter going on right now. So Julia, Phyllis, John. I'm just going to say hello, John. We are in class. Okay. So pick a place that you want to go. It could be a physical place. It could be I want to go to become a nursing job in a medical office. It could be I want to be a salesperson. It could be whatever. If you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. Which is if you don't have a plan for your future, guess what? You're never going to get there. You're just going to go along with whatever comes up. If you say, this is what I want to do, your neural network is going to take you there, if you believe it. If you have your fingers crossed behind your back, I want to work in a medical office, but I don't really think I can, are you going to get there? No, you're not going to get there because your neural network isn't looking for the opportunities and getting you to commit to do the things you need to do. So you have to know where you're going. And this will tie in, it's the same thing with the map. Now, what's the answer to the second question? But if you don't know where you are, what, Dennis?
You can't get there anyway.
What?
You can't get there anyway.
That's right. You can't get there anyway. If you don't know where you're starting, you can't get to where you want to go anyway. So I used to teach Navy SEALs how to be real human beings after they discharge from the Navy. Because they are the most highly trained people on the face of the earth in terms of getting things done, accomplishing tasks. Not being rocket scientists, but accomplishing tasks. But their way is we're going to get it done. We don't care who dies in the process. And that's kind of not really good at work, right? If you want to have the best pizza restaurant, you don't want to have an attitude, we're going to do it no matter who dies in the process. We're going to have the best pizza restaurant in Las Vegas. So they told me about an exercise they do, which is they get people in a helicopter, they fly around, blindfolded, they drop them off, and they say, okay, now you need to get to these particular coordinates. And all they have is like a compass or something. So let's just say here, somebody flies somebody around for an hour in the desert. I don't know. Now let's say here's Las Vegas. And they fly somebody around for an hour. They're just flying all over the place. And they drop a guy off. And they say you need to get to Las Vegas. And you can't see Las Vegas. It's not like you're on a hill and you go, oh, there's Las Vegas right there. You don't know if you're north, south, east, or west of Las Vegas. How do you find Las Vegas? There's no roads. You don't have a cell phone. How do you find how to get to Las Vegas?
First you look at the terrain.
Okay. Huh?
You got to see where you're at a little bit.
Well, it's the desert.
Well, certain places around Las Vegas.
No, you
the
can't
terrain's
tell by
different.
any of the mountains. You can't tell. Huh?
Look at the sun. Look at the sun.
Well, the sun will only tell you where's east and where's
Yeah,
west,
well, I mean, that's a
but it won't tell you if you're here or there, right? This is, well, east, north, south. If they drop you off here, you're going to be able to say, okay, north is here, south is here, east is here, west is here. But does that tell you where Las Vegas is?
No.
Okay. If they drop you off over here, will you be able to tell north, south, east, west? Yeah. But are they going to? Does that tell you where Las Vegas is?
No.
Right. The thing is, the reality is, you can't get here
Right.
If you don't know where you're starting, there is no way to get to where you want to get unless there's some external thing comes in.
Right.
Okay, let's say you think you're here, you think you're right here, and you start heading west. Are you going to hit Las Vegas?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But let's say you're here,
that way.
you start going west. Every step you take, you're getting further away from where your goal is. So the important thing in life, the two important things are, you need to know where you're going, and you need to know where you're starting. If you don't know where you're starting, you're not going to be able to get to where you're going. And most people like this exercise, and the reason they do it with Navy SEALs is because people think it's not that hard to figure out how to get where I'm going once you drop me off with the compass. Okay, solar navigation or navigating by the stars doesn't work when you're 50 miles away from someplace or 100 miles away. You got to be 1,000 miles away or something for that kind of thing to work. Just don't know. So you need to know where you want to go, and you need to know where you're starting. If you want to be an astronaut, that's where you want to go, right? Well, you need to know where am I in that process of becoming an astronaut. Because you can't just jump into, okay, I'm ready to start taking simulated flights, unless you've done everything that you need to do before that. And it might be that you can't get there from here. Like, would it be possible for me to become an astronaut right now for NASA? Why not? What if I really, really wanted to do it?
You don't have the education to do that yet.
Huh?
Depends on the criteria.
Well, they're not going to close down. That won't happen.
You don't have the
But-
education yet.
Okay, well, let's say I'll go to school.
How about physics?
There's no way I could become an astronaut. I'm too old. By the time I got the education I need, I wouldn't be physically fit to do it. If I could become physically fit enough to do it. And there was a lot of guys who were physically fit, but they said, you know what? You have a history in your family of brain aneurysms. We can't send you up in 5 Gs of pressure. So you're out. So that's part of knowing where you're starting. If you physically can't do it, it used to be eyesight, you couldn't become a pilot. If you needed glasses, things like that. So you need to know where you are, make an assessment of can you get there from here. Let's say I want to go to Japan, but I can't take a boat or a plane. Can I get there? No. How would I get there? I can't walk. That's a boat. Das Boot. That's a boat. Okay? Why is it a boat? Because it can fit on a ship. The thing is, how do you determine a ship from a boat? A boat is something that can go on top of a ship, but a ship can't go on a boat. Okay? So, and a ship can't go on another ship. But anyway, so it's very important to know where you want to go, and you have to know where you're starting. And you might have to make an assessment that I just can't get there from here. So what does that have to do with maps? What does that have to do with Google Maps? Well, it just so happens that one of the great things that humans have evolved to do is being able to figure out how to get from here to there and back again. Our brains are good at doing maps. That's one reason we use maps, is because we can figure it out. Don't do complex math in our brains because our brains just are not good at doing complex math or even simple math. Subtracting, for example. Very hard for most people to do subtraction in their brain without a piece of paper. But we are good, human beings are good at figuring out how to get from here to there and back. And so are other animals, right? So are bees, ants, and birds. You know, a lot of animals are good at doing that. So the Google Map app is a very important app because it's something easy for us to get. We can understand it. It's not easy for people to understand Google Voice, for example. But Google Maps is a thing that's easy to understand. So if it's easy for us to understand, what should it be easy for us to do when we're in an interview? Talk about it. So when somebody says, tell me about the cloud, in answer to your question of why are you the best person for this job, because I can make you more money or save you more money, depending upon what you're applying for, because I can make you more money than anyone else, or I can save you more money than anyone else. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? Well, I'll give you the simple one-word and two-word answer first, then I'll give you more complex, the cloud. I know the cloud. And then they should at that point say what? In response to your sort of cocky, the cloud.
What is a cloud?
Yeah, what is that? Well, let me give you an example. You're going to be nervous and under pressure, and you're going to be thinking, am I going to forget stuff? And because you're thinking that you might forget stuff, you're not going to remember what you want to talk about. So you want to fall back on something that you don't have to think about, that you have memorized, and maps is a very good one. Okay? Because do you think the person interviewing you knows what a map is? Why not? They do know what a map is. No, probably not. That was they know what a map is. Who doesn't know what a map is? Besides Thomas. Okay, so they know what a map is. Do they know what the cloud is?
Might not.
Your answer, previous answer? Probably not. They don't know what the cloud is, but they know what a map is. And so the map is a good one to talk about. But you only have about 6.8 seconds to get their interest. So what are some of the things that maps are good for in a business? So for the business, let's say it's a
Find competitors.
restaurant. Let's say it's a restaurant. What kind of a map, what kind of things would a restaurant be interested in putting on a map?
Ed, one of my students said competitors.
Competitors. Okay, good. Okay, what else? To what?
From the person's location to their location. A lot of times people will call and ask, for
Okay,
instance.
but no, I'm going to create a map for you. On a map,
Deliveries.
the deliveries.
They have
Okay, let's call that customers.
The students here said vendors.
Okay, deliveries has to do with what? The route, right? But again, you need to know where you're going. Okay, so you need to know where the customers are. So like at the Italian American Club, the restaurant is on Sahara and Eastern. There's about 150 members that live out in Henderson. Is that really convenient for people in Henderson to go, hey, where do you want to have dinner, honey? How about the Italian American Club? Oh, geez, that's 20 miles away. That's 15 miles away. Not really convenient. So you want to know where your customers are. Or let's say you do have delivery. You generally don't say, well, we're going to deliver to anybody, anywhere, anytime. Right? Generally, like within 5 months. Okay, what's another map? Or another thing that this restaurant could be interested in regarding map?
One of our students here said vendors.
Vendors. Okay, what else? What else? Mike, you have anything?
Advertisers?
Advertisers. You mean like the magazines?
Not you.
Sure, I don't know. Which? Okay, Because I don't think advertisers would be tremendously important now because you don't have to go there, right? You can do everything by email. But in the past, that was somewhat important. Why would vendors be important?
But you can give them direction of where your location is to drop off routes.
Okay, well, they can figure out the directions, but you might want to know where your vendors are in case you have to go get it.
Right.
Stuff.
Will call.
Will call. What does that mean? Who's will call apply to? Oh, you mean if you have to go pick stuff up, Dennis?
Exactly. You run out of product, and then you need to go that product for that
Right.
day. You may have to go to will call to pick it up.
Okay, what's another thing that this pizza restaurant or this restaurant might want to have a map of? Employees, right. Who said that? Tom, okay. Employees. Employees, exactly. Why? Well, one thing would be,
In case you need to call some employees in, you would maybe want to call in someone that lived close in a closer proximity versus someone who lived miles and miles away.
exactly, exactly. Somebody didn't show up for work. Where do our people live? How long might it take to get somebody here? Okay. Let's say you do catering. You might want to put those types of people. So you have in-house, right? You have takeout, and you have catering. So you have you could have three types of customers, right? The people who are on premise, they eat in-house. The people who want takeout. So let's say you wanted to go put flyers on their doors or door hangers out, right? You want to know where your customers are. You want to know where the places are where you can try to bring people in. And if you are doing catering, what? Yeah, what are all the businesses within this radius for us to do catering? So theoretically, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's like 6 maps that an employer could want. And we could probably think about more. Now, do these maps make them money or save them money?
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
depending on the map.
yeah, and it could be both.
Yeah. So vendors, it could save you money more than make you money, right? Customers is pretty much making you money. Okay, but the save you money part might be in terms of you look at the map, you figure out what is in this area, and you say, there's not many customers there. The amount of money we have to spend putting door hangers out there, it's just not worth it. Or it's a really exclusive area like Anthem, and we can't get in the gates. But even if we do get in the gates, the people in Anthem might be really pissed off that we put a door hanger on their door, and they might decide they're never coming to our restaurant. Okay? So these are the kinds of things that people do. And again, because humans have evolved to be able to get from here to there and back again, maps are an easy thing for us to work with and an easy thing to describe for people. Okay, so that's one whole layer that's one whole part about maps that we're going to get into this week. Now, what is unique about Google when it comes to maps like this? How many maps do we need to have these 6 maps?
Have one map anyway.
Right. We only need one map because in Google you can have layers. And so what are layers like? California, what are layers? How would you describe that?
A listing?
What?
Like a listing?
A listing?
Listing of addresses.
Okay, well it is like a listing, but what's the benefit of having layers? Okay, so with a layer, it's like you have them stacked up this way, and you can look at all of the layers at once, or you can turn off some layers so you only see one or two of these maps. So if you just said, I just want to see our vendors, instead of having a map that is for vendors, all you need is what? A layer that's called vendors. And in Google, so besides giving you layers, they give you the ability to have different kinds of markings, different shapes, different colors. So that if you're looking at all of your layers at once, and you decide, okay, well, my competitors are going to be red, my customers are going to be green. If you have both of those maps up at once, just those two maps, what kind of decisions could you make? If you're looking at customers and competitor layer.
You can decide whether or not you're dealing with directly a customer right then by hitting that option. You'll be able
Okay.
to tell by the color which one is which.
Okay, so we can tell which one is which, but what kind of management decisions can we make if we see a map of our customers and also on the map is our competitors?
The customers are closer to you.
The proximity.
Yeah, so we can decide spending marketing money. Do we want to spend a lot of money advertising, promoting places that are closer to our competitors than they are to us? And we probably say no. Let's not try to get the places that are right next door to our competitor unless we want to do what? Drive them out of business. By doing what?
Taking their customers.
Undercutting their prices or giving them different service or some other benefit so that this business says, we can't compete. We can't compete with them. And, you know, as long as it's legal, you know, that's business. So these having different layers helps us make business decisions. So like if we had a car detailing business, you might want to have, and it was going a mobile car detailing business, right? You might want to find out, well, what competitors are near these places? Where are my competitors? Because they might try to go in the same buildings that I do. Okay, now.
I have my child too now.
Huh?
I have it layered like that.
Good. Okay, so one thing with maps is the ability to look at multiple maps called layers at the same time and to be able to turn them on and off so you only see the ones you want to see. So that's one part of what we're going to do. The other part is how Google Maps help them make money. Okay, so what are the different views in Google Maps?
Street view, satellite view.
Okay, so you have the regular map view, right? And then what else do you have? Satellite. Okay, satellite view, which means you see what?
On the sky.
What does that look like?
It's like from I would touch on
Yeah, it's like from 10 miles, 20 miles up,
Yeah.
what it looks like from on top of it.
Yeah. Aerial view.
It's an aerial view from very high up of actual buildings, as opposed to the regular map is what? Like what we're used to. It's just a graphic. It's easy to see the streets, not so easy to see the buildings. In the satellite view, it's much easier to see the buildings than it is the streets.
also allows you to be able to see like what's actually inside or surrounding the building versus
Okay, so what's the next view called?
panoramic.
No. Somebody said it. I think Thomas said it.
Street view.
Street view. And what does that do? What is street view?
Actually give you a live photo of.
Not live. Actual photo, yeah.
But
It's an actual photo of the street.
Yeah, it's an actual photo of the street. Because Google had what? Has what?
People going there.
Cars driving down these streets with cameras on them, they're just taking pictures of every single place.
Me and Jesse seen one driving down Fremont the other day.
Yeah, I saw one a couple weeks ago too. Kind of cool.
Exactly.
So Street View, you can see the front of the building and what's around it. That's kind of cool. Now, in the last year, I think they introduced something, I don't remember what it's called. I'm going to call it time lapse. That you can go back and see, what did this look like 5 years from ago?
Oh, yeah.
What did it look like last year? I don't know how far back they go. I guess it depends on when they started doing it. But now, 2007? Okay. So that was on today's video, right? So that's kind of cool. If you do it for this address, what do you think shows up 5 years ago?
Never was there.
Never was that.
Yeah, it was some stores. Who remembers what was on Fremont Street here? There were some stores 5 years ago. There's some old rundown stores. And that was a motel where the container park is. So you can go and see what it looked like here 5 years ago. Now, do you think that's going to be cool 50 years from now?
No.
Yeah. It'll be very, very cool. So now what's the other thing? What's the other thing in maps? No, different views that you can see with Google.
They also have inside views now, Ed.
On my computer, it pops up satellite view on my bottom, but how if you're looking for the other views, where exactly would you go?
Well, we'll get into that later this week. Okay, so what did you say, Dennis?
I was talking about the inside views. You can like go inside restaurants, view the ambience, see what it looks like, to see if you would like to eat
Right.
there.
Exactly. The new big thing is inside view. And inside view is going to keep getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Street View is very much on Street View.
Yeah, time lapse is on Street View right now. But time lapse will be on inside view in the future. So if you're talking to a restaurant and you're talking about maps, how can you help me? How does the cloud help my business?
Oh.
Well, I'll just give you one example. You know, there's 8 apps. I'm just going to give you one example. Maps. Here's the type of maps that we can create, and we can make business decisions based upon these maps. In fact, here, go to my community and click on the map that I created for your competitor. Because I am interviewing at 3 to 5 companies. Because I really want to work in this business. And I identified you as one of the 3 best companies to do this, but I created a map for your #1 competitor. And I can show you where their customers are, etc. Wow, cool. Okay. Now the second thing is maps. And I did this with Frank Bonanno a couple weeks ago when I met him. Map, satellite, map, we all know what maps are, right, Frank? Yeah. Satellite, you know satellite view? Yeah. How about street view? I explained this is, driving down the street, you can see the outside. Oh yeah, I heard about that. You know about inside view, Frank? No, what's that? Well, that's the actual inside of your restaurant right now. That's where people could take like a virtual tour and see what's in there. And in the future, Frank, this is going to be much more interactive so that you can go to the inside view and the chef could be talking about why the restaurant is so great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if people are shopping, looking around for a place to go, is that an advantage? Thinking about going and eating at the Italian American Club, what do I know about it? Oh, they have inside view. Cool. I'm going to go in there. Oh, okay. It kind of looks nice, but looks like any other restaurant. Here's the kitchen. Okay, well, the kitchen looks cool, looks clean. I don't know. Here comes up the chef. and he's talking about some of the great food they have, and he's actually getting me a little bit hungry. Oh, and then over on the corner of the screen it says click here to make a reservation. Does that help or hurt? Right? Can that be used, Robert, if you have a car detailing business? Yeah, same exact way. Inside view is of the building where he has the car detailing. So if you have contracts with buildings where you lease space and say, I want to have a car detailing thing in here, that's the building. You go inside, you see the car detailing set up, and you know what's an important thing for people getting their car detailed? Okay, safety and security, but the actual cleaning part. What do they care about regarding the actual cleaning part? Okay, so if it was me, a thing I would be concerned about is the water. Where's the water coming from? And if I saw 2 tanks that had stickers on that said ionized water, triple filtered ionized water, I would feel good, because I would feel that's special water. They just don't have a hose coming out from the wall, or the guy puts his thumb over it, rinsing off my car. So that's where inside view is. And that will continue to get better. And so, let's see, Brett, when were you here? When did you start?
September last year.
I thought you were here last summer. Well, that's sort of the end of the summer.
Yeah, that's when I started, was September 14th.
Okay, so I guess you and Phyllis started at the same time, right? Okay, well, when Telus was here, it was not as if they were just starting to do inside view. So inside view is going to continue to get better. Yes, Brett?
Thank you. That means that I made more of an impression than you didn't tell us.
Why not?
Okay. Oh, yeah. The camel just got its nose under the tent. Okay, so it's just about break time. Anybody in California have any questions about the importance of maps? Because that's all we are doing today is the introduction, the importance of maps, and how Google Maps help make life better.
No questions in California?
Okay, so tomorrow we're going to create a map. Everybody's going to create a map and put different layers on it. A personal layer, a school layer, and a work layer, like for employment planning. And on your personal layer, what you should do is just put all the places that you go, or you would go, or you used to go. Where do you go to church? Where do you go shopping? Where do you go to the movies? Where do you just start plotting all of those things out, and you'll start seeing some patterns. So our brains are very good at figuring out where we go and remembering. But once you can see them on a map, you can figure out ways to become more efficient in life. I was with a Chinese guy this weekend, and he said his thing is when he leaves his house in the morning, when he comes back, he doesn't want to go out again. So before he comes home, he goes to the gym, he goes to the store, goes to the dry cleaner, whatever he needs to do, he leaves his home, and when he comes back to his home, he doesn't go back out at night. And so having a map makes it easy to do that. On your school thing, it could be, again, where do you start, which would be on your personal map, and the bus route you take, places you go to, go by, places that have importance. And then on your employment layer, what you ultimately want to do is get the 3 to 5 companies that you're going to be wanting to interview with, put them on your map, and use that as the tool that has links to your Google Drive with all the data, all the research that you've done. But you put that on your map because, again, it's easy for our brains to navigate spatially versus hierarchically on a drive. Everything is stored on the drive in a hierarchical fashion, right? But on your map, it's stored spatially. Okay, here's that employer, there's the other employer, here's this employer. And when I click on that employer, the description box opens up, and I can have links in there to the research I've done, to a playlist, my YouTube playlist. I can have links to my research documents in there, all the stuff I found out about this company.
We're gonna go over how to do that again, right?
Well, not again. That's what we're going to go over, period. Okay, so it's break time. Everyone, thank you, Dennis. We'll see everyone tomorrow.
Okay, you're welcome, Ed. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.